This is the VSF P.9000 movement, specifically its most basic version. As you can see on the bridge here, it's the P.9000. Typically, these come in a steel case with a 2.5 hand layout, which is standard for most of these Panerai style pieces. This is the P.9000 caliber. Based on this core architecture, other variants are derived, such as the P.9010. And this one here is a P.9001. There are also other variants in the P.90XX series, so it's important to understand they are all extended from this base caliber. Let's take a closer look. Essentially, the base movement for all these is the P.9000. The only difference lies in the upper bridge, specifically the engraved text and the model number. There might be some other subtle aesthetic differences, for instance, in this area right here. So, it's just a change of the upper bridge, which is purely decorative and serves no mechanical function. Therefore, this isn't a fully open molded movement. It's more accurately a semi-open molded caliber. This is because virtually none of the internal components are interchangeable with the genuine movement. However, some of the external case components are interchangeable with genuine parts, like for the 441 and the 438 ceramic models. The crown guard, the upper bezel, and the main midcase can all be fitted onto a genuine watch. So, don't be misled by the model number. The different numbers just signify a change in the decorative bridge. All the underlying components like the balance wheel are identical. Take this one for example. This is from a 438, not a 441. It's for a 438 model. Even though this part of the movement is black, it's still made of steel. The entire caliber is a steel movement that has been plated to look like a gold-plated movement, but in this case, it's plated black. Now, looking at a P.9010 variant, you'll notice it has an added power reserve indicator. However, this power reserve indicator is not functional. While the hand can move, it's not a true power reserve complication. There's just an extra wheel added underneath. From my experience in servicing and from the watches I've sold, the quality of this P.9000 movement is exceptionally good. Its timekeeping system is very robust and not prone to failure. So what is prone to failure? It's the set of wheels within the automatic winding system. Specifically, the automatic system's first wheel and the second wheel. The third wheel fails less often because it's a reversing wheel. This one is a reversing wheel, so it doesn't fail as easily. The primary culprits are the first and second wheels, with the first wheel failing most frequently. That's because it's located right next to the mainspring barrel and is under significant stress. This area experiences a great deal of force, causing the wheel to wear out and fail. The third wheel, this smaller one here, its probability of failure is lower than the first wheel, but it is still a potential issue. The next most common issue is the click spring. This click spring can also break, but it's far more reliable than the winding wheels. Its failure rate is much lower than the first wheel. So that's the primary weakness of this movement, its automatic winding system. Otherwise, the internal components are honestly very well made. Because its bridges are quite thick and since the movement is large, the gears in the timekeeping train are not under excessive stress. So, failures related to timekeeping are quite rare. Another point is that, as you can see, the balance wheel on this P.9000 has micro-adjustment screws for regulation. This is a fantastic feature, as it means you don't need to upgrade to a genuine balance wheel later on. However, it has one drawback with its stud holder. What is it? It has an external regulator that the genuine movement lacks. The genuine version lacks this part. You would remove it and regulate the timing directly via the screws on the balance wheel, adjusting its inertia. This can be modified to be a true free-sprung system. We've discussed how to modify the P.9000 to be free-sprung in a previous video. In fact, most open molded movements can be modified to have a free-sprung balance. Once it's modified, looking through a display caseback, it's virtually indistinguishable from the genuine movement, especially since it already has the correct balance wheel with timing weights. You can barely tell the difference. So, after introducing the movement, its quality, and its potential modifications, let's now discuss the difference between it and a decorated movement. Actually, VSF Factory's predecessor was Q Factory. Q was known for making decorated movements. After they began making open molded movements, they rebranded as VSF Factory and released this caliber. The old decorated movements were typically based on a 7750 or Street 25 caliber, with a large decorative plate placed on top to mimic the look. This here is a 7750 based decorated movement. Let's compare it to the open molded one. If we align the crowns, you can immediately see the balance wheel positions are different. The open molded movement's balance wheel is here. The decorated movement's balance is here. The Street 25 based one would also have a different position, maybe over here or there, I forget. So this is a very obvious visual tell the location of the balance wheel. And another thing, if you look closely at its balance wheel assembly, it's hidden beneath this small decorative bridge. This whole top part is a decorative plate that covers the actual movement underneath. This is the real balance wheel below, covered by a decorative plate. Now, if we look at the open molded movement, the balance wheel is fully exposed. There is no decorative plate covering it. This is an easy way to tell them apart. Also, the decorated movement's balance wheel has no timing weights. This one has weights. The decorated one is a smooth balance. Another difference is the construction. On the decorated movement, this entire upper bridge is one large piece that you remove all at once, including this part and this part. However, on the open molded movement, the automatic winding system on top is a separate module. It's distinct from the balance bridge, which is also a separate component. Then you have the main plate bridges, which are also separate. These are all different parts. When you remove the decorative plate from the decorated movement, you expose the base caliber underneath. But if you can't see these details, the easiest way to tell is by checking the date setting function, which we've covered before. When you pull the crown to the date setting position, it should adjust like this. Our open molded movement functions just like the genuine one. You pull the crown out one click. When you pull it out one click, adjusting it makes the hour hand jump in 1 hour increments. When it passes midnight, the date changes, and you can also adjust it backward. This is the definitive test to differentiate a decorated movement from a true open molded one, the date adjustment function. So for the P.9000, that's all I have to say. In summary, its quality is excellent. Its quality is arguably at the top tier among all available open molded movements. Its primary weak point is the automatic winding system's wheels. Furthermore, its overall craftsmanship, including the watch case finishing, is also excellent. In terms of upgrades, there isn't much that needs to be done. The only truly meaningful upgrade is modifying the balance wheel to be free-sprung. Once the balance is upgraded, the movement is practically perfect. So this Panerai style movement is a fantastic choice. And now you know how to properly identify it. Alright, that's all for this movement.